The Taiwanese index is up 200 points, while the Hang Seng is seeing cuts of around 113 points.
Now, SEBI has barred Subhash Chandra and Puneet Goenka to hold any key managerial positions in any listed companies.
The core CPI has not inched up but down a bit at 5.1 versus 5.2 in the previous month.
Bernstein speaks about clean energy being the new pillar of growth for Reliance Industries.
It's a good opening for the market. 50 points straight off the back on the index. The Sensex is up 160 points. MRF, case in point, 1 lakh rupees in terms of the stock price, 1 lakh crore market cap.
Challenge that I see in the renewable space in India is a lack of indigenously grown technology.
Sujay Kumar had really come in and brought a lot of change, and initiating change is always tough.
The entire up move that you're seeing today is being led by the consumer side of the market. It's a very marked and very decisive move.
I think of late we're seeing SEBI orders which are very clear and sharp in terms of what they're what they're saying and what the data actually shows.
After a period of about 12 to 15 months, we've reached that point where the boards of both the companies have announced, have given approval for merger of these two entities.
The markets, what a stellar move today we are seeing on all the indices. Actually, Nifty is up 105 points.
Well, you're with us here on a fresh new edition of Closing Bell. That was a wrap-up of the day so far. We are coming to you live as always from the CNBC TV 18 Motorola Oswal studios. I'm Prashant. With me, my colleague Surabhi and Nigel here in the studios. And I think Mangalam is with us as well from the newsroom floor. Guys, hi. Good afternoon. It's quiet, right? And it's been quiet since the morning. Although it's quiet in a good way. It's been up 100 points from the word go. And we still got about 100 points to show for it. So there you go. It's almost as if, you could draw a straight line. Nothing has moved very much. But before I come to the Nifty, I just want to start with the mid and the small cap part of the market, which is actually where all the action is. The mid cap index has made a new all-time high. It's powering away. Actually, mid caps are doing better than small caps, and that's it's a new thing. Small caps have outperformed mid caps by some margin recently. And for the small cap index, it's basically the 11th week of gains. The index, the last I checked, it was on your screen, 0.6% higher. So no problems. Nifty is having a slow day, as I said. And actually, it doesn't look like it's done very much, but this is the three parts. 50-point up move post-open. 11:30 to 1:50, absolutely no change. And then 1:50 p.m. onwards, there has been about a 20-30 odd dip, which as we speak is getting bought into. Now, the Nifty has got supports at the Friday's low, of which is 18,555. There is some distance between, that level and where we are right now. Below that's the 20-day. Bank Nifty's 20-day got breached yesterday, marginal, but today we are bouncing back a little bit. But the 20-day for the Bank Nifty is at 43,980, and we are roundabout there as we speak. US CPI later today, which will influence what the Fed, does tomorrow. And the market reaction here is on Thursday, as we've been pointing out. So, it's holding very, very steady. I don't think you could sort of be enthusiastic about mid caps and small caps, but I don't think the Nifty 100 points is anything to scoff at either. Surabhi.
Oh, absolutely. I take your point, Prashant, because what we've got is actually a very wholesome green day. I don't think too many people will complain.
Yeah.
Apart from the fact that we haven't followed through on, beyond that 100-point gap up. But otherwise, if you look at the constituents of that 100-point move, it's pretty well spread out. Consumer stocks are leading from the front today. Maybe it's the crude cooling off impact. Maybe it's the fact that you're getting some, spattering of rain around Maharashtra and Mumbai as well. But look at Tata Consumer, Asian Paints, Titan, ITC. The entire list is up and about. You're seeing some traction on metal stocks as well. Those are the gainers. The losers, by the way, barring SBI and Kotak, the other banks are not too bad off. Some of the other big names include JSW Steel from the metals pack. Tata Steel is finding some traction. I think people are still holding on to hopes of this China stimulus that is expected. And of course, Reliance has been a big contributor. But beyond that, really, the spark and the action, the traction, the momentum, call it what you want. Look at what's going on in the mid-cap market. There's a Liberty Shoes up 15-16%. Ramakrishna Forging, Ujjivan. It's just an endless list of gainers. Macrotech developers, Lodha, 7-8% higher. Remember the company Electra Greentech It's back on the buyer's radar today, 7-8% higher. So some new names getting thrown in, and pretty decent stocks as well. I mean, these are well-tracked, large-size mid-caps, if I could call it that. So it's a very vibrant mid-cap market, and a reasonably wholesome is the word I went with, Nigel, for the large-cap screen. But yeah, I guess Prashant's point is well taken, that if you were hoping for the big push and the index breakout, well, it looks like today we may not get too much of that. But it's Tuesday, so we have the financial services expiry. So
well, that's right. You know, it's getting tricky every day, actually, because you wake up to positive global cues and you can't buy the gap up. You have to look for that intraday dip, and then after that, the market doesn't do much on the headline index itself. The game pretty much is in the broader markets, and you know that's the way to play it. Now, this is the important index. Let's pull up the Nifty Financial Services Index. That's been range bound. It's moved to the lower end of the range, and I'm looking at the options data. Let's pull up the Nifty Financial Services Index. Yes, you know, that will be volatile, and that's the index you need to focus on for the next 55 minutes odd. I'm just looking at the options data. There's some writing being seen at the 19,450 call and around the 19,400 put. So the broad range, what you're looking on the downside is at around 19,370 because of the premium at around the 19,400 put. So keep an eye out. 19,370 is very, very important on the downside. And on the upside, if by chance we can get back up to around 19,465 on the Nifty Financial Services Index, then in fact, you know, we could see a breakdown. But important that we hold the lower level. Pull up that index, Nifty Financial Services Index, yes. So 19,370, 19,375. It's important we hold that level on the downside. And on the upside, 45 points higher. That's at around 19,465 odd. We need to hold on to that level. So just keep an eye out on that. If we break any of these levels, then maybe we'll see a bigger bounce. Mangalam, but it's been that sort of a day, right? Start off in the green, intraday dip, moving higher, but that actual knockout punch is not coming about.
The knockout punch does not come about, Nigel. It hasn't in the last few trading sessions, but it's interesting, you know, a lot of those people who would have invested in mid caps and small caps are looking at the capital gains that they're getting on those stocks. And with the frontline indices being range bound, they're just happy trading the options on the borders and eating the premium of the markets. But today what was extremely interesting is that despite the weakness that we're seeing in the financial end of things, it is Reliance which has put its hand up and now supporting the frontline index. So as you see, you know, the Nifty Bank is almost in the red, about 30 points up in the green, 0.09% holding up, and virtually closer to the lower end of today's trading session. But despite that, the Nifty has not given up much of its gains. It's still holding around that 18,700 mark. And what's the difference? It is Reliance. And that's interesting mainly because yesterday, all those who had written, you know, a bunch of the calls at 18,600 have been caught on the wrong side. They're covering their positions. And put writers are getting active at 18,700 and 18,650 as well. So that's telling you whether we go up or not, the supports have been moving higher from 18,450, 18,500 to around 18,600, 18,650 on the Nifty itself. And that's a big positive. Now on the way up, the only thing we'll have to look for is the previous week's high of 18,777 before we can go about the all-time highs. But no problems for the mid-cap end of things. We have the mid-cap index at a fresh record high as well.
Absolutely. Things are looking pretty, you know, up and up there. Well, how should you position